What is going on, everyone? It is time for another rant video, and this is an impromptu rant video because I didn't expect to be making this video today. But I'm getting really sick and tired of these quote games journalists writing these articles with these clickbait titles and gamers not reading the article at all and taking these clickbait titles and running with it and pushing a false narrative. I'm getting really sick and tired of this happening. So if you don't know what I'm talking about already, you can see it on the screen. We're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I don't know about other game websites, but this is the one that I saw shared the most. And this was shared on social media today. It's from Gamespot. And here's the title of the article. Cyberpunk 2077 dev talks microtransactions, quote, "We won't be aggressive." And people, like they usually do, just read the title of the article and they run with it. And they took to Twitter and other forms of social media and they said, "Oh no, CD Projekt Red lied. They've always been against microtransactions, and they said Cyberpunk would not have microtransactions, but look, there's microtransactions now. They lied. And then, of course, the gif of Star Wars Episode 3, "You were the chosen one," was shared all over the place. And the sad thing is that if they bothered to continue to read the article, they would see right here where it specifically mentions that they're talking about the separate multiplayer mode. I'll repeat, the separate multiplayer mode. I even highlighted the text right here in case you don't understand yet, because apparently people have a hard time understanding things and they have a hard time reading things too. It's right here. CD Projekt Red is talking about putting microtransactions in the multiplayer mode. The multiplayer mode, by the way, that we know absolutely nothing about. We don't know anything about this multiplayer mode. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be a first-person shooter deathmatch game. We don't know if it's going to be like a hacking simulator game, kind of like Watch Dogs was. We don't know. We don't know anything about it because it's still years from release. 2 to 3 years. Oh my God. So we know absolutely nothing about it, but people still want to act like that they know what they're talking about. And it's funny. Can anyone name me a multiplayer game, a modern multiplayer game? Or should I say a major multiplayer game, because I don't know about every single multiplayer game that's out right now, that doesn't have microtransactions in some way. Look at the biggest multiplayer games on the market right now. Fortnite, the biggest game, has microtransactions. But of course you'll say, "Oh, well, it's free to play." Well, how do you know that the Cyberpunk multiplayer won't be free to play? We don't know. Once again, don't assume things, but people love to assume things. Then you got the Call of Duties, the Battlefields, the newest hit multiplayer game to hit the scene, Rogue Company. All of these games have microtransactions. But people still play those games. They still love those games. Here's another example. A game that I'm playing right now, Fall Guys. Very fun game. Very frustrating game too. It has microtransactions. I honestly can't think of a major multiplayer game that's out right now that doesn't have microtransactions in some form or fashion. And as far as microtransactions go, I have no issue with microtransactions. The only time I have issues with microtransactions is if they alter the gameplay in a way that gives people an unfair advantage if they pay money. Another term for that is, quote, pay to win. And to me, the biggest example of pay to win is what Naughty Dog did with the first Last of Us multiplayer. That multiplayer was freaking fun, and then they ruined it by adding in these overpowered weapons that were like $2.99 each, or $1.99. They're roughly around that. Overpowered weapons that people could pay for, that didn't require any skill whatsoever, and gave them an immediate advantage. That is the only time I have an issue with microtransactions. If you want to put microtransactions in there for cosmetics and all that other stuff, I am perfectly fine with that. And what is CD Projekt Red going to do with this multiplayer? I don't know. Once again, we know absolutely nothing about it, so maybe we shouldn't assume anything about it. Oh, I just saw on a screen right here. Gamespot is on a quest for your opinions. Oh, really? Well, here's my opinion. Get better journalists that know how to write non-clickbaity titles. How about that? Maybe you should try that for a change. And then, Cyberpunk. Had to go on Twitter. Actually, no, here we go. This is the tweet people were spreading around right here. No microtransactions from 2019. And they took this tweet and went, oh, look, see? They lied. They said there was going to be no microtransactions, except there isn't going to be any microtransactions for Cyberpunk. Because the Cyberpunk game that comes out this fall, once again, is separate from the multiplayer, which comes out in 2 to 3 years. At least. And then, of course, they had to go on Twitter and confirm the obvious. Nothing's changed. Cyberpunk 2077 is a single-player game with 0 microtransactions, 1 purchase, no tricks. Don't believe the clickbait. Thank you, CD Projekt Red. And then they had to further clarify in case all these bozos still didn't get the message. Cyberpunk multiplayer / online, which is oh look, here's that word again, separate project. We'll have some microtransactions, but we said that a year ago already. Like always, expect us treating your money with respect. And you know what, people? Until they prove that statement wrong, I'm going to believe them, because that is exactly what they have been doing for years. They have been treating customers' money with respect. Look at The Witcher 3. It was a huge game, over 100 plus hours easily. It had free DLC, and then it had big expansions that, yes, costed money, but they were big expansions that easily added 15 to 20 hours extra of gameplay. So until they prove me wrong, I'm going to have faith in this developer, and I don't see what's wrong with that. Unbelievable. This is what people need to be outraged by, with all the scummy stuff that goes on in gaming right now. People have to complain about this. And I will never understand why people have this visceral hatred for CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. Why is that? If you're one of those people that is watching this video right now, why is that? I would love for you to tell me. Because I don't get it. I don't get what the immense hatred is for this game. I've heard people complain about, oh, it's not third person. No. Well, guess what? They don't have to make a third person game every time. They're allowed to make different genres. Okay? They're not tied to one genre. I mean, here's a perfect comparison right there. That's like saying that we should bash Guerrilla Games for not making Horizon Zero Dawn a first-person shooter, because all what Guerrilla Games did before that was make Killzone games. See how stupid that sounds? Imagine if people said that in 2017. Why isn't Horizon Zero Dawn a first-person shooter? Why isn't it a first-person shooter? How dare you? Imagine how stupid that would have sounded. It's just as stupid as complaining that Cyberpunk is not third-person. And you know what? If you watched any of the gameplay reveals, you could see why it needs to be first-person. Simple as that. So I don't know what it is. And I don't know why people continue to push these false narratives on this game. I don't get it. Tell me why. Tell me why. Why should we be outraged about this game? Because I don't get it. Once again, all of this other scummy stuff that's going on in gaming, and this is what people are choosing to complain about, I don't freaking get it. So, alright, that is the end of this video. Please let me know what your thoughts are down below, and until the next video, have a good one.